All right.
Good morning, Truth. How you doing today?
Doing all right. Gonna be cutting the space probably to a couple hours instead of the few. We got another school thing going on since it's getting close to the end of the year for the boy.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm actually I have to go. I have an appointment at 11:30, so it's fine. I'm just getting some things done around the house. I had to work again yesterday, so because I was supposed to go to Massachusetts this weekend to see Alex, but uh with the way I'm feeling, that's not happening. So we're postponing it till the summer. So I have now I'm not working until next Saturday, which is nice. So I got my 2 days out of the week out of the way. So I can help out till like 11 o'clock if you'd like.
Mhm. No, Mrs. Allen jumps in and helps start it and then goes back to guarding. So thank you for coming in. I see Rusty. Rusty was here. Now she's gone. Anyway, we're just getting started, so it's going to take a minute for everybody to join us. So, good morning. Come on up. Just multitasking here. Sorry.
I hear you. I'm doing the same thing. I'm making my bed while this is starting.
I don't know if I heard lead from uh, going Kim, but I could be mistaken. Feel free to grab a mic.
So I was looking, on X. I, didn't get to peruse too much yesterday. I was kind of busy at work, but today, I was looking through, and these they're this is really ramping up with these data centers. There's a whole. I think I just put the article in the it down in the bubble. Um, in Nevada, in Lake Tahoe, they're losing access to 79% of their electricity supply because they're putting a data center up there. That's going to affect tourism and all the mountain areas up there. And then also, I see they're trying to do land grabs in Georgia by eminent domain, which we've had that here in New Jersey with affordable housing, and trying to get there's a couple of girls that are making videos and trying to get that stuff out there to so people can get it to the right people because they're pulling that crap there in Georgia. And then what state was it? I have it bookmark. I have it also. I have to put it into the bubble. There was a state that they were that they approved, the council approved the everything, signed and sealed it without telling anybody in the dead of night, and they got rid of the whole town council. They voted them all out. So it can be done. People just have to become aware because this is the sneaky stuff that they're doing. So yeah, I just saw that, so I will put that in the bubble as well.
Reasons. Well, looks like going Kim got a speaker. I don't know if I've heard from you. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Truth and Julie, Rusty, everyone. I just popped in. You made an offer, and I thank you. But I just really came up to say hi, and I try to get in here as often as I can to listen, Truth, to you and Marlon. And I'm used to sort of being in the background as a listener and smashing emojis, but I'm soon to go run some errands and just finish putting my garden in. I've got to go back to Home Depot. Oh my, that's the way it is. But I love y'all and uh, hope to get back in the Bible space again. Truth, I've enjoyed that in the past, but thank you for all you do. I just wanted to say good morning. What a time to be alive. A great time. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome to hear your voice and for you to come up while we're getting started. You're always welcome to grab a mic, and I followed you back. I didn't know you were following me. Sorry.
It's it's okay. I'm thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, well, have fun with the old gardening thing. My wife's doing the same. Everybody's getting ready. It's time to plant if you already hadn't done it. But yeah, and then the Bible study, that's always fun. Hopefully people who listen get something out of it, you know. None of us are perfect, but we're certainly trying our best to live according to God's will. So I'm glad you got to come in there. Come on in. It's every Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern in the evening. And we do our Bible study, which we're in the book of Philippians. We're covering chapter 3 this week, and then one more chapter. And then, of course, we do the prayer for our country. If you didn't know that, that's every Saturday morning, early at 8 a.m. Eastern. So if you hadn't made it to that one, come on into that if you got the time, if you're up early. But anyway, I really appreciate that. It's good to hear new voices up here. I know it gets, I guess, intimidating, especially when we get a bunch of people in here. But, you know, Marlon's on hiatus, which is great to give him a break because I know I certainly can use it.
Well, truth, I just thank you again because I know, no, I don't know, but I appreciate your effort and time to, help out Marlon. And this has been a great space for a long time. So I love listening to you too. And hey, the Saturday morning sounds great, but I'm usually often run into the grandkids, all their activities. But thank you that I'm glad to know that. I didn't realize that. Thanks again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we just do a weekly prayer. You can always listen or you record it and all that stuff. But, you know, we were called a while ago to do a weekly prayer for our country. And right now, I believe they're doing 50 days of prayer. There's like the White House has set that up. So there's different preachers that are doing that. I got to find where that post is, but they're praying for the next 50 days, all the way up until our anniversary of our country. 250 years, pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm excited. You know, doing these spaces is a little awkward. Um, and I, of course, I don't have the Jersey accent like Marlon. I'm saying the two Utes, you know, use guys.
Hey, listen, we like our Jersey accents. Be quiet there, you.
See what I mean? Anyway, you keep on smashing them emojis. I appreciate it. It's always uh, humbling when people come and try to listen to our crap that we put out every day. I don't know if it's crap, but we try to cover whatever we can.
Well, there was a lot of things that have gone on. I guess they had a at the at the mall in Washington. They had a big candlelight visual for the cops that have been killed, and it was pointed out that not one Democrat from the Congress represented and came out to back the blue. There were several Republican congressmen there, so that was noted. And obviously, this big thing that's going on with Trump over in China right now, they're getting already a lot of the things that they are asking for. Uh, China has agreed that Iran should not have any nukes, and that they're going to be buying oil from us, which is great. That's why he wants to open the Alaskan, get that running that pipeline through Alaska. Um, I believe there are going to buy more. They are going to buy more soy for the farmlands. That's great. And I think there was one other thing, but I can't remember what it was. So they are making big moves over there, and it's kind of refreshing to watch. And then just on a little side note, which I thought was cute, Elon has brought little X with him to China, so that was cute to see him running through the halls with his dad. And Elon's just Elon; he's being himself, and which is great. So, I just thought that was really good.
Well, Xi Jinping actually said directly to Trump in their meeting at the big table that we, meaning China and the U.S., we should be partners, not rivals. So that's like putting a lot of serious shaking out there of all the other nations. If that be possible, you know what I mean? But then they played the YMCA theme song as Trump got off the plane. All these the marching band and everything greeting him. That was pretty awesome.
Well, they showed the comparison. They keep showing the comparison of when Obama went over there in 2016. Um, he didn't even they didn't even give him the stairs to come down the proper stairs. He had to come down the little back stairs, you know, the one that they used to give Biden to come down so that he wouldn't break a leg. And then whatchamacallit, he gave you know, they gave him a red carpet. They had all the people, yeah, the people that were there to applaud him, to play the music. So big difference, big difference. Just shows you when somebody actually has that power, has the power of the American behind them, and you know, is not going to take any crap. So, or just give pallets of cash, you know, to keep you good and quiet. So yeah, it was refreshing to see.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Well, I see our fearless fish is lurking here in the audience. Yeah, so thanks, Marlon. I'm trying to throw him the mic, but he might not be able to talk. Obviously, he's working a lot. And I wish we could have, it'd be useful if we actually could have more than freaking just two damn co-hosts. So Julie's gonna be an honorary co-host, so all three of you guys can run the space, and I can just walk away. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, no, I can't walk away.
Nope, you're the host.
Speaking of all three of you, let's say hello to Anika and Terry as well.
Good morning. I'm just trying to share the space out into my DMs and the other I don't know, whatever they are. I put it in the American X Live chat room, and I got a couple of other chat rooms I shared in. So just trying to get it out there. If you haven't already, guys, can you please like and share the space out?
Anika, just an FYI, we found out that if we share this like in those big rooms or communities, that somehow that gets us on the weird thing starts happening to our spaces. Julie, isn't that right? Didn't we figure that out last year or something like that? No one I know.
It's not so much the sharing it out, but when you're sharing it with other people, when you're trying to invite people, they're saying that that is not a good thing. But you know, I don't know. The spaces have been relatively okay for the last, you know, last couple months. It's been okay. Just a lot of bots coming in. I know when I was co-hosting the other day, there was a lot of bots that came in, but you know, I don't know. Hopefully things are a little bit better.
We'll see. Terry, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Truth and Miss Nika and Miss Julie and all the listeners and speakers. It's going to be a great Thursday today. Hope everything's well.
Well, I wrote down a list of all kinds of crap that's just been on my mind that I'm pissy about, so maybe we'll bring that up. But good morning, Tinfoil. I see you got a mic too.
Good morning. I'm still waking up over here. I'm groggy as heck, but also I got a weird craving for beef jerky. I don't know where it's come from, but I'm craving beef jerky this morning.
Did you watch Trading Places or something? Beef jerky time.
Oh, so really quick, that I put it in the purple bubble, guys. That it was a Missouri town that they the council approved this data center without any input from its constituents, and they fought back, and all all of the town council was voted out. So it can be done, guys. We can do this. We just have to wake up and do it. And get involved. You know, that's why this space is so important, that we always hammer in, get local, get involved in your areas, because they're doing these things, especially if it's, you know, if it's more lopsided, you know, more blue oriented, you know, they do these things in the middle of the night without anybody's approval, and that can't be done. You know, you have to show your strength and your courage. And you know, it'd be nice if you want to run for something, if you want to do something, but it's just using your voice is so important, and speaking out and getting people with you involved, because it can happen. And that's exactly what happened in this town of Missouri. They were pissed off that they found this out, and then they voted them all out. And it can be done. So I just wanted to throw that in there, quick truth.
Yeah, well, plus I did like what you put in regarding Tahoe. If y'all haven't been to Lake Tahoe, it is definitely worth seeing. Uh, it's so beautiful. The water is crystal clear. Like you can see down so far. I've been there a lot of times. I used to live not too far from there in Reno, and man, oh man, it's a gorgeous lake. If y'all hadn't seen it, and it borders, of course, two states, California and in Nevada. So on one side of the lake, you can go gambling and the casinos there, and the other side you can't, you know. And somebody was joking the other day saying they drove just over the border to the California side and didn't like it and drove back. They felt like they were a communist when they went over the border.
Yeah, I've
But
been to talk.
it's happening more and more. And I don't know if Rusty's still in here. She wants to jump up, but that, like I said, that's in Georgia. They're trying to take people's land away by eminent domain for this. And this has got to, the people have to get on top of this stuff. They're going to do it no matter what. If this is what they think is going to put money in their pockets and help their people, they're going to do these kind of things. They're not going to ask you what you want or what you think is best for your town or your state. They're just going to do it.
Right. Um, Now, I just want to ask really quick. Hey, did anybody else have Julie digitized, or is it just me again? Because I don't know what's going on.
It's just you again, Truth.
Good Lord.
I sounded like a robot to you, Truth?
Yeah, no, it's not you, Julie. It's obviously me. It happened yesterday. Like people who were talking was digitized, but nobody else said it was. It was just me. It's stupid new
Sounds like a
iPhone.
personal problem.
You know, as long as everybody else can hear, I'm getting the gist of it. So, as usual, there's tons of fronts that we're all facing every day. I know we've already talked about a few things, but things that I wrote down that I think need to be addressed. Nigeria, there's just nothing really. The occasional someone trying to report, but in Nigeria, there is so much going on that continues, and it has been for decades, but uh, that continues to go on. The slaying of tons of Christians. The latest was so horrifying. I really don't even want to repeat some of the things that were done, but that's something that can't be ignored. It's a shame that there's countries on this planet that have that going on when people are being killed because of their beliefs or refusal to believe someone else's. So that's definitely on my heart. And then, you know, the good news about so far, knock on wood, the meeting in China, where Xi Jinping himself said that we should be partners, not rivals. It's pretty big news. And then, you know, yesterday there was the COVID hearing where it's basically, you know, more proof that Fauci was behind everything as far as the cover up and stuff like that. We all went to support our dear friend Lindsay RN with, you know, her hosting that space and hosting it live. And that was cool to listen to. Unfortunately, I feel like it was all for show. we see all these things. We've seen them constantly for years now, where all these people, scold them and tell us the truth and blah blah blah, but then crickets and nothing happens, and that's frustrating. So I'm hoping that changes. This morning for some reason I thought of back in the day of Martha Stewart. Remember, she got arrested for insider trading. Remember that? She did time, the whole nine. So,
I think there's a lot, and it was that whistleblower that from the CIA that was that came out yesterday. It was very telling. Again, something that the Democrats wouldn't even be a part of because, they basically they cannot argue things, and if they do, they look like idiots. So they just didn't show up for this hearing and this whistleblower that came out, and it was very telling. I mean, if you are a Democrat, and none of your Democratic leaders were there to represent, that's very telling, and I just think that looking at that, it's like, well, there's a problem here, guys. We got to really look into this. I saw that and I was just like, wow.
well, so again, like hoping that something's going to happen, arrests will be made, not of the lower level hanging fruit, but the ones that we all know are dirty. And like I was saying about Martha Stewart, if you guys remember, she was arrested. And that was a while ago, quite a while ago, a couple decades, I think. But so she gets arrested for insider trading, but we all are well aware that Nancy Pelosi's insider trading, having the best performing portfolio in the world, doing 7,000% better than any other broker and trader. She doesn't get arrested, but old little Martha Stewart telling you how to cook things and plant things and all that stuff. She's fine. She's going to get arrested. You know what I mean? So we that's why I think all of us as Americans are so damn frustrated, because there is no accountability for anybody that's kind of higher up, so to speak. So I'd be interested in seeing what people thought about all those things. Other things, like I said, that I wrote down. And then I don't know if you all have been kind of paying attention to a lot of the posts that President Trump has been making regarding Iran and what's going on. But I really believe that they're going to go in uh, more than we have, and they're going to finish the job because if power is shifted to the same people, essentially they're different names but the same regime, then nothing's going to change and it'll go right back. So I really feel like the hints that he's been throwing out, like, dude, no, we're going to go in heavier than we have before, and it's not going to be pretty. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but there you go. That's my
Well,
stuff I wrote.
I have one thing. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if I put it down in the bubble, but I will if I didn't. Scott Bessonette, he was saying that they can see by radar that all their oil tanks are filled to capacity. There is no more. They can't store the oil anywhere else because they are not selling it at all. They're not. There's no boats getting in. So now their soldiers are not even being paid. So they're essentially bankrupting the whole country. So I think that things will start to happen because they're getting very desperate, and they're not willing to give up. But they've got nobody purchasing their oil. Like I said, now China has agreed that they're going to start purchasing some oil from the United States, and he's going to start through Alaska. So it's actually cheaper and it's actually shorter than it would be to go to the Straits of Hormuz. So it should be pretty interesting because now they're not being paid. They're not getting any money. There's nobody coming in and there's nobody getting out with any oil. So that I just saw that today with Scott Bessonette said that.
Shouldn't affect our prices, but it does because oil is a worldwide commodity and blah, 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 blah. But not that we get a drop of oil from there and have never been dependent on it. But that's a whole shit show that we're all watching and victims of. So, Marlon, are you? I've tried to get him up here, but it is what it is. Like I said though earlier, if you didn't catch it, since more people have come in, I'm going to do this space, but we're probably going to cut it about an hour short, so we'll end up leaving here in about an hour and a half ish. Just so y'all know, I'm preparing you now. We're not doing the old Marlin. I'm closing in 2 hours later. You know.
Truth, I just wanted to add to a couple talking points. Martha Stewart was arrested, convicted, sent to prison for lying about getting a stock tip, and it was James Comey, believe it or not, who pursued her. How funny is that? That he could be possibly, he's look at where he's at right now. So karma. And Nancy Pelosi last 23 to 24 had a 70% stock portfolio increase per unusual wells. It's the source. The average is 8 to 10% increase per year. And so that's just thought I'd throw that in. And I've been to Tahoe and it's beautiful. You should go there if you haven't been there.
It's amazing, man. You know, I took a boat out there and like you jump in the water and you can see somebody jump in the water and how far down you see them the whole way. I mean, it's just hard to describe. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, now they want to wreck it with a freaking data center.
Yeah. There's enough, granola nuts out there to fight it. So we'll see how effective that is or is. You know what I'm talking about when I say the granola eat.
Yes, I do.
Okay. It's pretty silent this morning. I'm glad that you all came in to listen. I don't know if you got something or if we need anything else so we can talk more. But yeah, thanks for verifying the old Martha Stewart crap. Again, it's just God, just watching all this stuff go on. It's hard to take. You know what I mean?
Another great example of somebody with insider trading that made lots of money. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, how it's coming out. That woman was in how long was she in? 7 years, 5 years, whatever it was. And she did all this, was making supposedly what, $130,000 a year, and whatever their salary was supposed to be. And then her few years in there with all the insider trading. Now she went and bought a house in Costa Rica. Just kind of interesting had to see that she was able to purchase this property in Costa Rica. Now she's there, and yeah.
Yeah, they get 170,000 a year or more, depending on their time in office, which is crazy because the average income. What is the average? Is it 40 something thousand now? Does anybody have that stat? Oh, hey, Marlon came up. Go ahead, Marlon.
What's the matter with granola? Wait. You're the hack. Wait. Hey, we were the hacky sack generation, weren't we? Harry, Nick?
That's what I was saying, dude.
I got no issue with granola.
We invented that. What are you talking about?
Right? Standing in the circle, kicking a little beanbag. Yeah.
What did I miss?
Hey, we're talking about the granola eating, hacky sack kicking, freaking hippy dippy people out in California going to try to save them from the data center. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, God.
No. You got it, Marlon. You're up here, so you know what's up.
Wait a minute. It's not just the hacky sack granola eating people that used to kick around a hacky sack. And I love granola. Granola saved me many, many times, man.
Hey, I like it too. I just don't kick hacky sacks. Smoke weed is just not my thing.
It's terrible. You're telling me that hacky sack has a stereotype to it.
Dude, come on. Every guy I saw kicking around a hacky sack had the wannabe dreadlocks and the whole nine, smoking weed. Hey, bro, and they were good at it too.
I was gonna say, truth, I was pretty good at it back in the day. My soccer training did me pretty good there. Just saying that, there's nothing wrong with kicking a hacky sack around. I can't do it today. I freaking, I would really hurt myself trying to do it today, but
All right.
there ain't nothing wrong with that. Granola, on the other hand, is not the greatest for your body, so be careful what granola you're eating.
Or your teeth. Russell came up. What's up, Russell?
I just was listening to you guys talking about the granola and all that. And shit, I grew up in Southern California, 20 something years. And we always played it during break and stuff. I worked in in a body shop, and they was a little bit behind me. I'm a little older than they were, but shit, I got in there and played, and used to have a good time doing it. It was something to do, break up the day a little bit, get your heart rate up. And I just, I'm going to mention something about the J6 whistleblower yesterday that came out. And all these people are finally coming to the front. I don't know if anything's going to happen because of it, but I sure would like to see it. We've been telling you guys 5, 6, 7 years now that there was influence inside the whole, whatever you want to call that they had. And we mentioned Pelosi. Pelosi is definitely involved in it, and the Burger King patrol that was there that day. All of them had a pooch. They couldn't barely get their uniforms on. And if you can see the pictures that I have in the film that I took while I was there, the whole thing was completely messed up, and it was totally intentional. And then they came after us all, and I just hope something happens, something good happens. These people need to pay for their putting us all in prison for. I mean, there's some people that probably deserve to go, but all I know, I wasn't one of them. I walked in an open door, nobody there, nobody. There was no. When they brought the cops in to clear the Capitol, I turned around and walked out. Simple as that. Some people, and the reason, they gave me a hard time in my court case because of the fact that I went in a different direction. The reason I went in a different direction because I didn't want to get in the scrum that the cops and the so-called other, who knows who they were, but there was a scrum going on. So why would you head towards something when you don't want to be involved in it? But anyway, I just try to let people know where we're at and what we're up to still. And like I said, I talked to Trennis a couple days ago, and he told me that there's something going to be happening, and we'll get some more information soon. So pray for us.
It's still a tragedy that cannot go overlooked and has to be dealt with, and there has to be severe consequences for the people really behind it.
Yeah.
If they come out with that truth, look at how many victims. Hey, let's just take one guy for an example, Derek Evans, and Russell. I'm not taking anything away from you, but I'm just looking at. Now, I don't know your backstory as well as I know. Yeah. But look at the victims of the kids and the wife and the detriment on his home life and his bills and everything that put him behind the bill and behind the ball. And I'm sure, Russell, you're dealing with the same thing. Maybe you're a little bit more protected than he was. He's a younger guy than you.
Right. I don't care about sensationalizing it. I just want to get a little justice, and these people, just like you said, they need to pay. There's a lot of people's lives they messed up. I actually, even for doing a year that I did and everything else, I actually came out of it okay, and it was only because of the fact that, you know, the last 3 weeks before I went to prison, I did a job and it was paid $10,000 is really the only reason I still have my shop. Because I had the money in the bank to be able to pay the payments. And my nephew took care of it for me while I was gone. Like I said, when I got out, I had $300 left. I had to start all over again, and it's you wouldn't believe the idiots that I've talked to that actually think that I was the problem.
Marlon, there was a gentleman whose house was raided at 6 a.m. His wife was pregnant and she lost the baby. There is a lot of damage that was done. That was not.
I never even heard that.
Yes, there was a lot of damage that was done that was never talked about. or never put out there, widespread, because every time they would post anything, of course, being a J6er, it would be attacked and taken down. But yeah, that there's so much damage that was done, like that wasn't seen by the majority of Americans. And the whistleblower letter that was released yesterday, when they tried to release it, I'll be honest, I couldn't get in to see it until this morning because there was an attack on their server to try and keep it from getting out again to the mainstream public. So this is still, they're still desperate to cover this up. So I hope Trennis is right and that they are going to do something. This, to me, is one of the biggest stains on America. What they did to conservatives during the Biden administration, it's egregious. I'm sorry, but this is one of the worst things that I've ever seen
Well, I
done
mean, look
to
at
the American people.
like Nico, look at that whole speech where they had the red background and it looked like stormtroopers basically in the back, standing there, ominous and all that stuff, and that total hate, and we must defeat the MAGA Republican. Like, what the? It was
Talking
so
about the
bad.
MAGA extremists.
Chris.
People were talking like, I couldn't hear.
He was screaming up to saying, oh, we have to get the MAGA extremists. Meanwhile, the extremists are on the other freaking side, and we all know it. Go ahead, Julie.
I'm saying that's when he labeled us all domestic terrorists.
Well, see, so through this all, the one thing I think needs to be talked about a little bit more, and remember, COVID and J6 are totally tied together. They're one and the same as far as I'm concerned. And Pence, I believe, is behind a lot of this. He had the authority to not allow well, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Allow the states to, because there was was it 32 or 28? I can't remember the exact number, but there was a bunch of states that were going to say, this isn't right. We have to go back and check the votes. But then the J6 thing happened. But again, how's this deal with COVID? Well, COVID was definitely planned. We're knowing that. We're seeing that. Hence all the mail-in ballots, the scare tactic, all that stuff. It's all tied together. But Pence, as the vice president, had the power to not allow the voting for the president to go through. Gosh, I'm just losing
The certification.
There you go. Thank you. Good Lord, man.
He was also their inside guy, if you ask me. He was the one that worked directly with the president and worked directly with the Democrats to take down the president, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, and I was just reading an article yesterday, Nico, when you just said that they were saying that they think he is the biggest. He was the leaker that when all this stuff was getting leaked out about with Trump, he was leaking it to his staffers, and then the staffers were leaking it out. So yeah, he's not a good person, and he needs to go down as well.
Right. And then this whole thing, I think it was also a setup with this Operation Warp Speed. That, of course, now the Democrats are blaming Trump for all the COVID, stuff, which I know in my heart of hearts, he had nothing to do with it. He was kind of like, well, shoot, okay, this is turning into be a real thing. So, well, what do we do? And he had so many wolves around him. You got to do this, you got to do that, trusting, quote unquote, these medical professionals, and it was all a sham to begin with. We all know that. And still, just please, anybody explain to me how the flu magically disappeared for a couple of years and now it's back. I'd love a real explanation on that. So anyway.
It's so funny you said that, Truth. I say that all the time, and I say it to people at work. I'm like, where did our flu go? Why did, oh, that was because COVID was overtaken. I said, no. I said, flu just doesn't disappear like that. Bullshit. But you got these people that are so brainwashed. And I just saw that video again, where the reporter asked Trump, about because he was talking about calling it the China virus, and why does he think it was a lab leak thing? That was back in his first administration, and he looked right at Fauci, and he like, Fauci, like, you answer this. And also, guys, remember, Trump, when he said, when all this stuff started happening with the lockdowns and all that stuff, that was when he handed it back to the governors of each state and said, hey, listen, you guys do what you want for your state. So just remember that when you want to blame Trump, it wasn't him. He said he never forced anybody to do anything. He never enforced the lockdowns. He handed that back to each state and said, hey, you guys deal with it. Do what you think is the best for your state. So if you look at some states that were opened up after a couple of weeks, and then there were some that were locked down for 2 years, hence like New Jersey.
And New York. That's why I spent so much time in Florida. Sorry, Truth.
No, I mean, but that's, again, him following the actual Constitution and not making it any kind of federal law or anything. That, the power of the states. He was abiding by the Constitution. You guys have the power, so you guys make the choice, an informed choice based on new data that comes out and all that kind of stuff. So it's and again, it's not to say that anybody's perfect. It's not, anything, but the lies that everybody was told, the people who didn't know, the people who had no experience in medical background, of course they're going to look to the TV and try to, like, okay, what do I do? What's the best thing I do? I get the fear, but that only came from miseducating or brainwashing everybody and getting them so far away from knowing their own bodies. And we've talked about this many times, but we got a few hands. First, of course, let's go to our host, Marlon, and then we'll go down to Russell and Gene.
It's just real quick, Russell, June. Wait a minute. We're talking about Joe Biden's administration that really has manipulated the Fed, destroyed the economy, okay, kept the interest rates up, right? Why hasn't the interest rates already dropped? You know why? Because there's still pushback from the Fed. This will get the economy rolling. I talked to roofers yesterday. I talked to a lot of different people yesterday, and they're all saying the same thing. Nobody's going to move on a 6% loan, okay? Not they have created stagflation. That's what that word means. That's what they do.
And housing market. Just be prepared, y'all. Big old stuff is happening. Hey, Russell, real quick, we hadn't heard from Jeannie. If you don't mind, let's just go to her and we'll go back to you.
Good morning, people. I wanted to jump on here really quick because Marlon was here, and Truth, that he's my favorite. Sorry, but you know. Anyway, so I'm getting this message very loud and clear on multiple fronts that says, don't wait, educate. And I'm not going to take up a lot of the time here to explain all the different things that I'm seeing line up. But I wanted to catch Marlon to see if he's still in the party to educate, because there are a boatload of things that we can do. And I'm hearing it loud and clear. So that's why I wanted to jump in real quick. Because I'm telling you what, I'll tell you what I did really quick. I went out on Facebook and I said 40 million people injured and killed by the shot. And then I added Ron Johnson's a clip of him. I have never got such a response on Facebook ever, ever. And the people that have responded to it, I say they're either blind or ignorant. It's just, the responses were incredible. And I just thought, I don't do arrogance and ignorance anymore. I'm putting the information out there. 40 million people injured and or I'm sorry, injured and killed. I'm sorry, that's a fair number to put out there. Um, and I think the other aspect is we want to focus on the treatment of the injured. So and I think we should just convert all BioLifes, all plasma and dialysis centers into treatment facilities. Sorry. So anyway, that's where I'm at this morning. I'm looking ahead and how we're going to treat. Let's do it. Let's do it.
100. Jeannie, sorry, Truth. That is so true. You know why you got that response? Because people don't really want to see what the truth is. They don't want to believe it. They were duped into this, and now they have to live with it. So they're not going to admit. A lot of them are unfortunately not going to admit that this was meant to hurt us. That's what's happening there too.
Yeah, Joe Biden questioning our patriotism because we didn't take the shots.
Not even questioning it, Marlon. I mean, accusing us for being the reason that people were dying. That's how
Well, and
extreme it went.
right, and I think that sometimes we need to remind people of the history. Trump, like you said, one of the arguments is, well, it all happened under Trump. No, he said, here you go. And this is what my medical experts are telling me. And here states it's you do what do you based on your population.
Well, he even tried to tell people use ivermectin, hydrochloroquine. He was trying to tell people the truth, and then all of a sudden they started making fun of him, saying, "Oh, you're giving him horse medicine and all that crap." Remember that?
Yeah,
But
I
hey,
remember that.
uh,
And I think we just need to gently remind people that the symptoms of injury are very deceptive. They sneak up on you. The most profound cases are like Lindsay, right? So we have the spectrum of signs and symptoms of being injured. And we're starting to see the spike protein in unvaxxed people. That means it sheds. So there's this whole level of education that we have to do. And uh, with Marty McCary resigning, they still have so much crap and corruption and deep state actors still in the system. I really think that they're saying to us, hey, American people, do your thing and we'll meet in the middle. That's where I'm at now. I think you got Jay and you had Robert Malone walk out of ASIP. So all honesty, I really, really believe that. And I think that if we have a combined force of people who interact with, and we get very, very serious about it, educating the populace is where uh, I think that's where God's pointing me. Anyway, I'll just say it like that.
real quick, let's get back to Russell, and then we'll go to you, Tim.
As far as what I've witnessed, they didn't have a quorum on the floor that day. Okay, they were supposed to send it back to the states for a 10-day observation or whatever the heck they're supposed to do for 10 days. Well, Pence, I guess, I don't know how Pence could do it on override. This is a constitutional law that was supposed to be followed. There's nobody enforcing the laws that were there. That was the biggest part of it. They should have never voted on it today. The minute that they decided they didn't have that they were going to not send it back is when the I don't know, the tear gas and all the smoke bombs and all that stuff almost within a minute. I've seen people just start running because they drew down on you. And then yesterday when I was reading some of the article and stuff, I was standing there and a guard or an officer, whatever you want to call it, turned around and sprayed my buddy right between the eyes with mace for no reason. And then yesterday they mentioned it, in this article and stuff, and I guess apparently it happened all over the Capitol that day. We were standing there having a conversation, and this guy turned around and sprayed him right between the eyes. And that there was no call for that at all. They're really lucky that people didn't act out more than they did, because you start doing like that to somebody, they're gonna react, and then some of the reaction was planned and was acted out. And the bad thing is they're terrible actors. I mean, terrible actors. And like I told you, I've seen Ashley Babbitt's blood supposedly down the sidewalk on the way out. Still got the video, and it was just, I've never seen a hospital or a rescue worker leak that much blood out of anybody for that long, all the way to the ambulance. And then, of course, there's no autopsy, there's no information, and we got 4 people that were killed by people that are supposedly working for us. I mean, there's no educating these people. These people are evil. That's all there is to it. There's no educating these people.
Russell, to tell you that Judge Joe Brown, right? He's come out many times and said that the next docket after he certified that election was they were calling for the continuity of election. In 1871, there is a mandate talking about when the general masses don't believe in the election integrity, they're able to call a quorum of exactly what you said. 1871. The continuity of election. This was supposed to be taken 5 people from Congress, 5 people from the Supreme Court, and 5 people from the Senate to actually go through and certify that election. And if there was a problem, they would have called for a new special election. That was the next docket, Russell.
Right. Well, they decided to attack us instead.
So, Jeannie, you brought up a point. You thought that Russell, this all goes into one. Jeannie, you talked about all of the social media people that came in after you about the shot, right? Well, what you put there about 40 million deaths. When you actually look at Kevin O'Leary and what he said about data centers the other day, of all these social media influencers that fought against J6, that are fighting against the immigration at ICE, these are all paid operatives to come on here and change our thought. Look at it. It's in the medical field. It's in the J6. It's in the economy sector. It's in the data center sector. They're all paying these people to come on to these, and that's to create your message. That Kevin O'Leary said it perfect the other day.
Yeah, it was funny because I kind of got into, I try not to do this, but on one guy, I said, you're a bunch of bots, and he says, no, I'm not. I said, oh, okay. Well, then, what's your issue? He goes, I want you to give me your sources. And I said, well, you can get on X and you can get on Prometheus Action. And he's like, well, no, but I want your sources. And I'm like, yeah, go out and find it yourself. I'm not
I think we lost Jeannie.
Mr. Summerall is the one to go to for all the information. He's got it video written over and over and over. There's so much information out there, it's ridiculous. There's no reason for these people to have any doubt. And like I said, with this whistleblower bombshell or whatever they're calling it, and all the film that's out there that's going to be released, the body cam footage is showing how crooked they were. They wouldn't release it because that was their that was their stake through the heart, and now it's out. And if you really want to know, you need to go look at David Summerall's stuff. And he's what the heck's his name of his thing? I can't think of it. Help Stop Hate, David Summerall. It's all out there. Anyway, I'll bow out. I'll talk to you guys later.
No worries, Russell. Good to have you in when you visit. Ken, thanks for your patience, buddy. What's going on?
Yeah, it's all good. You guys are talking about the people that Lee Biden acted and during his reign and try to act like we're all terrorists and everything for not wanting to take the vax. I told, like I said yesterday, I told a whole bunch of the people on the left, I was like, when I get the chance to, I want to move out to the rural area, get away from all you people. And the next time you guys want to lock down, have at it, have fun. I won't be a part of it. I don't care what you guys say. I don't care what you guys think of me. You can think me of a terrorist of all you want. Really don't care. I'm not playing your games anymore. I can't tell you how many are like, well, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do. I was like, no, you're not. You guys don't do anything beyond the city, so have fun with that. And it's just they've destroyed that trust with me. I don't want to be around people anymore. I just don't, because so many people are so controlling and so narcissistic that I really have no use for them anymore. And I'm just planning to get away from them, and I'll land there.
Oh, well, okay. So when you ask most people if they trust the government, almost everybody says no. Um, that's a wake-up call. And the majority of people believe that the only way for us to regain any kind of trust in our government, especially, is seeing accountability. And I think they realize this, they know this, but the pace of it is getting on everybody's nerves. Everyone wants to see something yesterday. We all have the evidence, like Russell was just saying. The evidence is there for J6. The evidence is there for insider trading. The evidence is there for Fauci being behind all of this, and Bill Gates, and they even make mention of Soros and all this shit. The evidence is there.
They
So
raided CIA raided Tulsi's office yesterday. Now, what's that about? Who's got the badge? Who's got the guns? Is what I want to know.
well, I don't have a badge, but the latter part, I got lots of those, but it's neither here nor there. Yeah, I mean, the stuff going on until we see major arrests of the names that we all know. The American people, unfortunately, do not have any trust in their government, and we're all sick of politicians. All the empty promises, all the bullshit that happens on every level. City, county, state, whole nine. So it's a massive overhaul that we've got to do. We do have the power. We can't give up hope. But until we see consequences for people's horrifying actions and deceit and everything, we're never going to trust the government, and that's a shame. It's a really hard place to be in, because especially veterans like myself or whatnot that served our country honorably, that believe in the idea of our constitutional republic, what we thought we were fighting for to defend, which we took seriously as an oath for life. The regular folks like us believe in it, and we've got to keep it alive and bring it back to life, versus the pieces of shit that take power, take money, abuse their positions. Enough is enough, but we'll never regain that trust until the rest start being made. That's my belief on this stuff. I'm sure y'all probably agree, but go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about one thing about what Jeannie was saying about when you people are confronting you, where's your proof? Where's your resources? What I do for that kind of stuff is I actually, when I bookmark certain things, I actually have categories. I have medical freedom. I have conspiracies. I have a bunch of different topics, so that I can go right to that source and pull it when people try to pull that stuff on me. And as a matter of fact, I did that this past weekend. I don't have too many liberal friends left on Facebook. They've either left me or they unfollowed me, which is fine. And she had put a post up about the golden statue that was put up at Trump's Doral golf course in Miami. Okay, and there was clergymen that were praying for the statue in its symbolism, meaning that it was a golden statue of him saying "fight, fight, fight" when he had the assassination attempt in Butler County. But so she put up a post saying, you know, to my Christian friends, how is this? How is this? Allowed? How is this correct? You know, and so first I grokked it, and then I also got resources, and I said, and I put it into her post, the grok saying that this was on his property. These clergymen, these I can't say what do you call them? Evangelists? I can't say the word. Evangelicists, evangelicists, yeah. And there was a couple of his Jewish leaders that were also praying, and they were praying more for what had happened to them. It wasn't that they were dedicating this statue. They weren't praying for, like, as she tried to make it look like they were praying for, like, to it. They were praying to it. And how is that acceptable? So I said, this is, first of all, this is on his property. They came there. It's not like these guys were told to come and pray to the statue. They came and they prayed for the statue and what it means. And I put all this proof up, and she took the post down, because that's what you do. When you show those resources and that evidence, they don't have anything to go on, because they will not take the time to research these things. They are getting their points, their talking points off of CNN, off of all these stuff. And they're not taking the time to actually really realize what it is about. They're, you know, these mainstream media news stations have hammered into their heads that Trump is Hitler, he's the bad man, he's the cause of all the problems, so we must attack at all angles. But when you show them proof and you bring them proof, they get very quiet and they stop talking. They have no fight left in them, other than to yell at you or to scream at you, and then they walk away. So guys, what I suggest is that if you see stuff on X and you know it's from a reliable source and it's truth, just bookmark it and then make some categories. This way, when somebody asks you for something, you can go right back there and get it. You don't have to find it through all your stuff that you bookmark. Just a little PSA there.
Yeah, you can make some folders. And by the way, the whole DNI claim that the CIA raided Tulsi Gabbard, that's turned out to be false. I don't know if you know that. I can't remember who said that, but
Yes, I was gonna say that's not true, because Anna Paulina Luna backtracked her story, because there's no way that any of the CIA can override Tulsi Gabbard. She's above them, way above them.
Yeah, I heard last night, and I hadn't heard it this morning, what they ended up with it or not. If somebody's going in somebody else's office moving boxes around and they weren't allowed to, and it's in our government, then all the talking we want to do is just air. You know, there's somebody that the action needs to be taken, and these people need to go to, you know, what happened to the citizens arrest is what I want to know. And these people aren't being arrested. Why can't we, you know, call the police like we used to and get them to show up with a cop and make an arrest?
yeah, I'll delve into that. I'll go down that rabbit hole and look up our rights as citizens for an actual citizen's arrest. I'd be curious. I don't know who was first. Jeannie, we lost you. So maybe let's go back to you, and then we'll go to Tim.
Yeah, I don't know. That was really weird, but it was just dropped. The space was like done, and I still had internet. So people don't like me. Um, I think I wanted to respond to Tin Foil in knowing that well, I think the reason why we're discussing this, and it's the same reason why I discuss it with my last two friends, is because we are being prepared to be able to stand firm. It's like that level of rejection. You know, it took me long 6 years to get over that betrayal of friends and that type of thing. But I think it's really to make us really super strong for what we have to do moving forward. And that's the reason why I think I love everybody in this room so much, because you have become my foundation of, no, these people understand what I'm talking about. Uh, so we find each other, we support one another, and we encourage one another. And I am much more accepting of the fact that God places a delusion on people. I mean, that's one of those Bible verses that I had to go research, because I'm like, why are this happening here? So we just have to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully we'll get together and become a massive educational system that just works wonderful together. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what, I'm up to my ears in patience and virtues and strength. I'm ready. I've been nothing but patient. We're all there. It's just a matter of, hey, man, we better start seeing some heavy duty consequences real soon here, because we're getting close to people getting pretty unruly, and I don't want to see that. I really don't. I hope to God that we can abide by the law, abide by our Constitution, get what's done wrong made right. Go ahead, Tim.
Jeannie, I get what you're saying, and it's been rough for me because the one of the things I hate the most is being controlled by people. And after watching ever since COVID, the way the left has acted, I have become uh I have become one heck of a hermit, I think. Um but also I wanted to comment on Grok a little bit because Julie brought it up a little bit. I was saying working in IT and being a firewall engineer where I have to go into command lines on firewalls, Grok is the most handiest tool I have found to write config files for me. When I had to, so one of the things we have to do is we have to create these rules and policies in firewalls. Is basically tells the firewall, okay, from this network you're allowed to go here. From this network you're not allowed to go here. And some of those addresses that we have to put in there, the list is so long, it will take me hours and hours to write it. Grok kind of cuts it down in a matter of seconds for me. I love Grok in the terms of it's really helpful in IT when it comes to writing config files, and I just want to point that out there.
You got to count on fearless tinfoil for always bringing it back to tech or Star Trek.
Hey, don't you think now we kind of talked about all of those things during the Biden administration? It's just, it's insurmountable the amount of things that Biden administration worked against America. I mean, look at the medical, look at the J6, look at the financial, look at the way they questioned our patriotism, what they were ushering in. Okay, they couldn't have any more evidence for the other side to realize that this plan is much bigger. Like, you gotta see. Oh my God, I want to go.
Well, it really lends to the thing, lends to it, Marlon, that the 4 years that this pause, that dash between the 45, 47, okay, that pause, we had to see, because people weren't looking to see what was going on in this country and how we have been raked over the coals. And so we had to see for ourselves. And this really brought it all out, didn't it not? Brought it all out right out in the front for everybody to see, for all the stuff that they've been doing to us. Now, everything's starting to become unraveled slowly, but it's unraveling. What they tried to portray the last 4 years, and what is coming out now. I don't know if you looked out in the bubble, but I put down the exchange Kash Patel had again with Adam Schiff. And he wasn't getting away with it this time. He's not getting away with it anymore. The rhetoric, the lies, and Kash Patel had the receipts of what he's done, what his FBI administration has gotten done in the short time that they have been in control of the FBI since the Biden administration, and what they've achieved. So yeah.
Well, again. By 81 million votes, my ass. Where were those 81 million people voting for Kamala Ding Dong? I mean, come on. Just the proof isn't. Go ahead, Russell.
The whole thing is a lot of us saw it long before this ever started. I saw it before COVID, before any of it. And when they're, they're giving you a dozen donuts to go get a shot, it's just ridiculous. But now, I went out there and spoke and was arrested and did a year. Okay, well, now is your time because of the fact that you can be loud and you're not going to get arrested and you're not going to do a year. So if you've got any backbone at all, you need to let everybody that you can touch know about what's going on and change this whole thing back around, because there's a whole lot of evil still in there. I mean, just we're still not getting the whole story. I don't care what anybody says as far as like the people are making stuff up, but that's par for the course. I mean, these people, they will do anything to keep the right people out of the government, and I don't know if you guys have been watching Spencer Pratt out there, and I don't know who he is or any of his background, but he's sure saying the right things. And I love Los Angeles. And it's just a shithole out there now. I mean, it's terrible. My brother still lives out there, and you can't go to the city. Otherwise, it's just ridiculous. And it's just terrible.
Oh yeah, dude, LA is so bad. It's so bad, and
Coming from an East Coaster that I've never been to LA, that's a shame, Russell, because I really don't want to go there. I would love to go see San Francisco, but I mean, it can't be any different than Philadelphia. I mean, we got just as much homeless here.
Right. Well, that's the scary part. I did go to San Francisco when I was a kid. My dad made it a priority to take us all over that state. And I mean, I ate at Fisherman's Grotto #9 on the wharf. It was just beautiful. And there was none of this going on, and then everybody kept the liberalism and the, I don't even know what you call it, just the stupidity of what crept in there. And then everybody that was there just said, "Oh, it's okay. It ain't gonna hurt us. Let them do it. It's okay. Let them do it. It's all right. Let them do it." Well, here we are, and it has hurt us, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, that was TMZ, Russell, that put tried to put a hit piece out on him, saying that, oh, you've been staying at the Beverly Hills Hilton or whatever hotel or Bel Air hotel or whatever. You're not living in an Airstream. He's like, I'm not living anywhere. He goes, I've only been 6 days on and off at this hotel because the Democrats have put out, hit pieces on him, and they're, trying to harm him. He was living in his Airstream. He goes, I don't even have a home. My kids are in another county because of what's been going on. He goes, I don't have a home because of what these Democrats and Karen Bass did. They burned down our houses and they let it happen. And now TMZ is trying to put this hit piece out, but it's really, they are losing on that front because there are so many people coming out for him, Spencer, that they're saying no, that's not true. And then I put in the purple bubble, Javier Becerra. He's the leading Democrat right now for the mayor, and he's running. He's part of the Biden regime, and they were interviewing him, and he was like, the interviewer asked him about, the 45,000 missing children that his administration never even tried to find. And Javier Becerra tried to say, oh, well, what did you get those talking points from? That sounds like a Trump talking point. She's like, no, that was from the New York Times article I was reading. I'm just asking you. So they're not getting away with a lot of stuff, and it is happening. But like you said, Russell, people have to use their voices if they can't do anything else. Use your voices, get behind things, get behind other people, and start saying things. I mean, that's what we've been talking about in New Jersey for the longest time. We don't have that. We don't have the authority. We have to use our voices, and we have to try to fight that way because we don't have the power in the legislature to fight and combat all these things, but we have to try to stop things ourselves. And hopefully, people will start to wake up, and I'm slowly starting to see it, but there's still a lot of people that won't admit to a lot of things that are going on or that have happened in the past.
People are still too comfortable. They're still too comfortable. They've got to get up and do something. Go do something about it. Sitting on your couch doesn't work. And until we take the power back, it's not giving the power back. We need to take it back because these people, I've also talked to my FBI agent, the one that originally arrested me and stuff, and he's even getting pressure from the top not to talk to me. So that tells you that there's still a deep state that's in control. I don't care what they say. They're still in control, or they wouldn't be lighting gas refineries on fire. They wouldn't be, what I'm saying? There's still an underbelly of this that is still out there that we need. There's 80% of the people that are in our government are corrupt, and they may not say anything. They may not make a headline, but they're going along with it, makes them complicit. So unless we do something about it and stop them cold, like I said, we need to go around and arrest people ourselves. I mean, that's simply, it's in our Constitution. And there was a time back in Tennessee in the old days where they circled the voting process and told them, no, you're not going to do this, Anyway, I'll let it go.
Boy, oh boy, we're all getting stirred up, riled up, and yes, we got to find some solutions here. I'm looking into that as we speak. The citizens arrest, what authority we actually do have constitutionally and whatnot. So let me do that research. But Nika and Terry, you guys are awfully silent as the co-host. Y'all doing all right?
I'll go ahead and pick that up. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I got thrown out of the space I'm just listening like everyone else and got tossed out. I've been kind of listening, and a larger point is what you said earlier. I think reasonable people want to see justice for all of the crimes committed during the Biden administration. We saw what they did to Donald Trump, how they pursued him, falsely accused him, falsely indicted him. We saw what the FBI did to parents who were concerned about what was going on with their schools, what was being taught to their kids. And what did they do? They labeled them as domestic terrorists. We have to see justice. And now I'm gonna flip to the positive. We have a president who I believe cares about this country, and he was the victim of all of that. He was the victim of being falsely accused. Now I can think of 100 people that could be falsely accused that might just kind of let it go, but Donald Trump's not going to let this go. He gave Pam Bondi a chance. He didn't do much with it. She's out. Todd Blanche is acting attorney general. If he can bring in an AG, and if that Thune is worthless, but if we can get them confirmed, we're going to see some arrests made. But we've got to get some arrests made because we have to have law and order. We have to have the rule of law. Otherwise, we're no different than North Korea or some banana, country in Central America. We've got to know that there's accountability and consequences for unlawful behavior. I'll shut up now.
And we're all in accord here for the most part, obviously. So looking up a little bit in the old citizens arrest, it's usually state specific with no uniform, federal rule apparently. But felonies, you can often arrest people if a felony was committed and you have reasonable cause to believe the person did it. Some states require you to witness it in person, but others don't require it to happen in your presence. So they say that you can use only reasonable force, and you do have the right to detain that person. And then immediately you're supposed to be turning the person over to police and inform them of the reason of the arrest. But it says you must act in good faith, um, which of course they can lead to turning around lawsuits against you if it was, not found guilty of that crime. So interesting. I'd love to learn more about it. Oh, I think Miss Nika got kicked too.
DC is not a state; it's the problem, and that's probably where we need to start.
Sorry, Nika get her co-host back. Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. DC is its own kind of I guess you can almost consider that a separate country, District of Columbia, right?
Oh, wait. Rob, Russell, I've said this a couple of different times. As soon as those prisoners came out of Washington, they got filtered into all those states. That's where the attorney general was supposed to stand up for the rights of that citizen. That should have
Yep.
been stop everything. Stop those cases would go in front of an advisory board in each and every state. And obviously, we saw that didn't happen, right? How many, when you really start adding up the victims, you can't really institute a lawsuit unless you can actually prove there's victims. How many victims are there now, Russell? When the can't say that word. Vidal Sassoon commercial, and he's sticking in the mirror, and so on and so on. How many people were affected by that J6? There was a couple thousand people arrested, but how many families actually suffered from that?
Well, the only thing I can say is the one reason that I wouldn't change anything is at least it started some kind of a roll back towards sanity and law enforcement. I have a brother that was a police officer, and I have a lot of friends. They're sheriffs and everything else. I've helped a friend of mine run for sheriff here, and these people, unless we push back, they will just keep running us down the flagpole, and it'll be over. And like you said, it'll get to the point where it is a banana republic, or it will be a banana. Our legislation and our actual government is a banana republic. It just hasn't gotten to the streets.
That was the word I was searching for, Russell, was banana republic. But, we saw Bill Barr at the end of Donald Trump's first term, where all of these signs where a reasonable person could say, man, this election is there's just something wrong here. And Bill Barr's like, I don't have any evidence of fraud. Well, fraud doesn't just knock on the door and go, hey, you got me. These people are complaining. Yeah, we stole the election. And then in comes Merrick Garland. And remember, Merrick Garland hates Republicans because Mitch McConnell didn't give him a Senate hearing to be confirmed as a Supreme Court justice. So talk about somebody that had an axe to grind, right? Like when they raided Donald Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago, it was leaked that he had authorized the use of deadly force for retrieving documents. So
Thank the Lord I never got there. Thank the Lord.
Well, look at it this way, Carrie. There was something else that came up during this week, and I think it was either last Friday or Monday, and it was about this organization, First Choice, right? And we were talking about, hey, the predatory subpoenas that were given to this particular organization. Now, what this organization does is it protects women's rights. It's not a Planned Parenthood. It's more of a conservative end and giving these girls different avenues for funding. And, this is what this organization does. Now, my own state in New Jersey is subpoenaing, sending out subpoenas to this First Choice to they want email lists, they want donor lists, they want everybody that's involved. So what's that look like? I mean, even an organization that's trying to help conservative women just find the right avenues in society, whether it's she's a single mom or hey, she was a rape victim, hey, she was trafficked, well, whatever the case. Now, hey, my government wants to go in and tear this organization apart and expose everybody the same way they do it when you actually contribute to these campaigns. You know, if you contribute over $600 because you get two installments of $300 in New Jersey. If you supported a candidate in New Jersey, you get two different cycles. There's a primary cycle and the general election cycle. You as a citizen can only donate $300 without being generated and go on a list. If you gave $301, you would be generated onto this list, and you can do a total of 600 without being on the list. So everybody doesn't want to go on this list. Nobody that's contributing to these PACs want to go on this list because they don't know where the list goes. It's very manipulated, just like the same subpoenas that they're trying to get out of First Choice. Where's that information going to go? Who's that information going to fall in the hands of?
Right. Well, what I know about that case, Marlon, is First Choice was a faith-based organization. It was operating fine. There were no complaints against it. And suddenly they found themselves under attack by the Attorney General, who was, this is what was alleged, that they were sending subpoenas without court approval to dox the donors to find out who the donors were. Well, any reasonable person would say, well, that's going to cause them to withdraw from supporting the organization, which would then cause it to implode. Subsequently, First Choice then went to the Supreme Court to be heard on the matter. And in a 9-0 decision, that means Joe Biden's nominee, Jackson Brown, she even jumped in and said it was unlawful what they were doing. It was just disgusting what happened to First Choice. And but yeah, that's raw power right there. And now had they been like a left-leaning pro-choice, or they wouldn't have got messed with, but it was just gross what they did to them.
They can promote Planned Parenthood. They're actually out there selling baby parts in black and white. They're going to let that organization continue, but they're going to shut down something that hey is faith-based.
Right. And that was the reason that First Choice went to Supreme Court. You know, they were literally issuing subpoenas without court approval. You got to have court approval for a subpoena, or it's really not a subpoena, you know.
The J6, you know, you said something about a different country. That's not the assumption of Americans. I believe I would be entitled to a speedy trial. I believe I would be entitled to my discovery, the evidence that's brought up against me. They didn't receive any of these things. You know, Russell, I mean, you know, yep.
Well, you can thank the Patriot Act for that, where they didn't.
But I don't think Americans realize on how bad they had to manipulate it. Now, again, I'm only taking Derek Evans an example is because, hey, he had a choice, right? They did not give him the discovery pack, but they gave him a plea deal. Wait a minute. This is the United States of America. You're telling me that now I'm guilty without getting my discovery pack. You want me to take a plea deal, or you're just going to let my family suffer and my bills crumble and my house and everything I've worked for.
Right? Yeah, I know Russell wants to chime in, but again, you got to remember the Patriot Act, any kind of quote unquote terrorism, you have no rights, period. Go ahead, Russ.
Well, they're the ones that classified it terrorism, and then they were the ones creating the terrorism, and then we're in all the courts, all the court action against us was done in D.C. with no change of venue. If you read the transcript of my trial, you would laugh. I mean, even I'm not an educated person about the Constitution, but they stomped all over our rights. It was about 6 different things that my lawyer put, the challenged. And of course, my judge was chucking, and she was going to railroad me all the way to the end anyway. And she's going to get hers. I mean, it's coming. I mean, if we have the men in this country that'll do back the law up and do what's the constitutional law, and not, they were making stuff up as they went. That everybody that was in my case or trial or whatever, the prosecutor, everybody is gone. They're gone now. They're thinking they can retire and slither off. And that's the problem. And we still given them the power to. I mean, I don't know what happened with the DNI yesterday or what, but there would be no way that that should happen ever.
Hey, and I know the other day we were in here talking with Time to Fish, Pilsner, Take Back, and I did get to see that video, and there's a lot of those pieces of that videos that should be filtered out and brought up, against our states and our assumed political people that we put in charge because of a vote, right? I mean, watching them kind of tear the evidence apart, explaining where that actual law or rule came from our founding fathers, and explained how God is back in our Constitution and it's the faith based of what America is. That's pretty much what that video told me. And, I don't know exactly how they got the opportunity to do that. Maybe they had a Republican board and they were going to allow that evidence to be submitted. But man, they went over every definition and explained the definition and where to find the definition and the solution. It was really cool, to see the cause and effect. That really, you're telling me that 10-mile district or 20 by 20 district in DC doesn't follow the same rules as the rest of America? I think that evidence came out long with J6, so we knew that, hey, they weren't being prosecuted the right way. They weren't being discovery packets and give them plea deals. It's insane how that judicial system worked there.
If we wouldn't have, some of us, if we would have pled out like everybody else, it would have never been an issue. It would have gone off into history. But enough of us stood up and fought it to where they couldn't just get rid of it like that. And they tried to kill us. I'm telling you, there was plenty of times in the year that they could have killed me. I mean, I have no doubt about it. You wouldn't believe the treatment inside of the walls by liberals or what, I don't know what you want to call them, just evil people. And I'm talking all the way from the warden down to the COs, and not all of them, but some of them. And like I said, I've got paperwork where they're talking about this fraud, abuse in the government. Well, I've got paperwork signed by a CO that proves that they're double dipping even inside the walls. That they're charging our government for all kinds of different programs and stuff they have in the walls, and they're not doing it, and yet, the minute I sign something on the bottom of the piece of paper, they can collect on the money on the other side of the wall. Anyway,
it's so disgusting. Go ahead, Tim Fool.
One question I want to ask too is, like, if you start doing the citizen arrest and everything, what are you going to do with the groups that are extreme? Because if you listen in incognito in some of these Facebook, or not Facebook, what am I talking about? X spaces, and you just sit there listening quiet to them, some are super extreme, and they got the chance to, and they're itching at it, to really change this country to the fundamentalism that they want, that basically it would take our constitution and really just, it wouldn't be the constitution after that, I would say. How would you contend with those kind of people? Because they're there. We might want to ignore them, but they are there and they are waiting. And that's something that's been kind of disturbing me lately, because it's amazing how many are starting to pop up.
Well, you're talking about the combination of Marxism and Islam, but I know Marlon and Julie had their hands up. Marlon, it's your space.
I just want to say, like, wait a minute. We just saw O'Leary come out that they're beating us at every punch on the social media and at data centers, right? It's even gotten us to the point where, hey, we're not agreeing with the data centers, but actually when you listen to what he says and what it's all about, I have a different outlook. I don't know that they're all bad. Maybe they can be, hey, put in designated areas because they really don't know the environmentals that are coming out, EMFs and everything else that's coming out of it. Give the people the answer. That's all O'Leary's saying is these people are spreading this false narrative throughout. So they did it with J6. They did it with the vaccines. They're doing it with Trump. They are paid big money to come in here and disrupt you guys. That's what O'Leary's telling you. And these people aren't coming forward. These social media platforms, they disappear. They're not real people.
Yeah, that's a fact, Julie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Russell, it's very frustrating, and I know a January 6er. Actually went to high school with him. I don't know if you know Scott Fairline. He lives in the town I grew up in, and we went to high school together. And I listened to him. He wrote a book called Fort Forged, and he's moving on and everything. And what they stole from him and what happened on the inside was horrific. And I went up to the Skylines town council, and he spoke in front of that to the residents and everything. He was obviously promoting his book, but he also spoke to everybody, and it was just it was eye-opening when once you go into Washington, you have no rights at all, and it's pretty scary. And Marlon, I hear you with what Mr. Wonderful was saying, but it comes also down to the fact that they need to inform people, though, if these data centers or whatever they're for are going to be for good things, they have to still talk to the people and say, hey, this is what it's about. They have to, educate people. And then they also have to get it approved for that area. Is this the best area? Because it's just, I don't know if you saw the last couple days, ever since, especially since he's gone to China, there's Georgia, they're trying to take property by eminent domain. They tried to, they passed the one in Missouri, and the people got fed up and they voted all the town council out. They said, no, you can't do this without our approval. You can't just make these things up without asking your constituents what would be the best for them. So there's a lot of things that are not happening, and that's got to change.
Well, go to you, True Megan, just a second here. If you're wondering about DC, if you want to go down that rabbit hole to understand the jurisdiction thing, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 in the Constitution, which is called the Direct Clause or Enclave Clause, is what grants Congress exclusive jurisdiction and exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over a federal district. Now, again, it's not exceeding a 10-mile square radius, and that essentially becomes the seat of the government. So the land was originally ceded by Maryland and Virginia in the late 18th century. And then the Residence Act of 1790 and the Organic Act of 1801 formally established the District of DC. So in 1846, the Virginia portion, which includes Alexandria, Virginia, was returned to Virginia, leaving the current boundaries, which is about 68 square miles, mostly from Maryland, which again, it's a big old freaking rabbit hole you can go down and start to get more and more confused. Go ahead, Jermiga.
Good morning. There's one in there's 830 acres they're trying to take up, and they're going to take people's homes in eminent domain, suck up all the well water.
Can anybody hear him?
Oh, yeah, Terry, I can hear him.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, the AI centers are disaster.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Drew. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah,
Okay.
you're saying that, but who are you actually getting that information from? Are they really using millions of gallons of water a day? They aren't, dude. You know, this is what I'm talking about, the spread of the narrative to change the outlook on those data centers. I need to take a step back because half of the information that's coming across isn't true.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I've heard you say that. I'm just saying this one at 830 acres. That's freaking crazy. And um, using eminent domain to take like people's houses and stuff. I mean, I wasn't even going to talk about that. I just was making that comment, but I want to talk about the J6 a little bit. There's a new whistleblower saying that the whole thing was about sacking Chief um, Sund. Are you aware of that? Like they wanted to create that disaster so they can, I guess, get rid of the Chief's son. The whistleblower saying this is like never been talked about before. Um, it's like the explanation why the first evidence of why the National Guard didn't show up when Trump asked them to. And I think that's pretty important too. I mean, the whole J6 thing was like a setup.
We've known that for years.
Yeah, that's not a shocker.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's all I got right now.
But when you had all the social media coming out and they were defending these guys, you don't think that was paid opposition? Come on, man. We heard from the very beginning, hey, they offloaded federal agents into that crowd to stoke and promote that crowd to bust into the Capitol. I mean, we've seen it. We've how many times have we seen it on X? And when it was first happening, if you talked about it, oh, you're a treasonous just like them. Nah, man, no. No way.
Yeah,
It was a full of lies. We get it.
it's exactly what happened, and it's still happening. I mean, I was called everything but a white guy, and it's there's still enough slime in between the layers that are causing this. I mean, look at what's his name, OMG, O'Keefe. I mean, every week he's finding somebody that's backstabbing somebody that's still in the government. And they're complaining because of the fact that they're firing people up there. Well, they need to do a lot more, but apparently because every week there's still a story out there where there's people trying to backstab the president and the people of the United States.
They refused him a press pass to the White House because of because of the fact that he's busting all. You would think they would be more appreciative of the fact that he's rooting out the evil that's still there, but I guess they took it as a personal hit. So now O'Keefe is not allowed in the White House. As journalists are not allowed in the White House. They refused to give him a press pass, he said.
Well, again, this goes back to the jurisdictions regarding DC. Remember, all the local laws in there must be submitted to Congress for review. They have 30 days to, kind of look at that. But Congress, again, I'm talking about the jurisdiction of DC, they can block, amend, or repeal any local law at any time. They pass their own laws directly for DC, and they retain ultimate control over their own budget, and especially any federal contributions that are made there. They have this home rule, but they can revoke and alter anytime they want, Congress, anything regarding DC. So the poor souls like Russell here that got arrested, that's why they basically had ultimately no rights because of where they were. Man, that gets deep when you start reading up on it.
Well, where's the reckoning day coming for that? When's the reckoning day coming?
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, Marlon. It's not gonna come because they have this power, and that's why they won't vote on term limits. That's why they won't vote on certain things because it doesn't matter if they have the R or the D behind their name. They want that power. And there is just as much bad on the right as it is on the left. Yeah, it's more hyper focused on the left, but there is a lot of bad on the right. And that is why they won't give up that power because they know that they have it. So they're not gonna stop until somebody else stops them because they're not going to do those things. You're not going to see term limits. You're not going to see these things happen because they know that then they don't have that power. They're not going to be in there. That's why they're lifelongers. Look at how they propped up Mitch McConnell the other day. The guy looks like a walking corpse. But let's keep propping him up, and he says his 5 little words, and then that's it, and then he goes back to his wheelchair. It's disgusting, actually. But this is what they want, and this is how they're going to do it.
Well, they had to have staffers while in an actual hearing remind him about rules, and he was trying to close it. He had no idea where the hell he was, what he was doing, and he had to have staffers tell him word by word what to do, what to say. It's disgusting. Take back. You got your hand up, bud.
Yeah, I'm on another Zoom call where we're talking exactly about the home rule and the legislature and who is the legislators or the legislators. And back to Marlon, what Marlon said, what is it going to take when the people assemble? That I'm learning now that the people are actually the legislature. When the people assemble, they are the legislature. We were thinking, and me too, that the state legislature and the federal legislature and the county legislature, the board of commissioners, and the township council is the township legislature. But now I'm finding out that the legislature is the people assembling together. When the people assemble together and they instruct their government, right now the government is instructing us. So we have to understand that the people have to get back to the town hall, call a town hall. You can instruct your township clerk to call a town hall, and the people are going to instruct their government on what they're supposed to be doing. And that's where we're going to get it. And if you go to my Rumble channel, there's a township in Illinois that just exactly did that. So it's coming around. It's slow for sure, but the education is getting out there. And it's good that we have these X spaces where we talk about it and we get the message out. But now we have to get to the action part because Trump said he's giving back control of the government back to the people. That means we have to learn now that we're supposed to be the sovereign. We're the top of the tier. We're the boss. And now we have to learn how to instruct our government. And if you read the 50, well, you don't have to read all 50 state constitutions. It's plain as day. Montana Bill of Rights, or Declaration of Rights, Virginia, Wisconsin, I think. Believe it or not, Wisconsin. And it says it right in there. We're to instruct the government. The people have all the political power. And we just have to learn and read. Instead of talking more, we should be reading. And it's good to read in the X spaces, but we have to read it ourselves. Just like the Bible. If you don't read the Bible yourself, listening to somebody else determine or tell you what the Bible says is not that's a step, but it's not the end. You have to read it yourself. Sit down and read it a little bit in a quiet area or take some time, like you would read a fiction book or any other book. Well, not that we read books anymore, but that's the key, is just sitting down and reading the stuff and thinking about it and then assembling together and working out the definitions of these words. They change the words. Like, we should be using the words by necessity, because it is by necessity that we do this. take back control of our 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 local governments, our state governments, and our federal government by necessity. And I'll yield with that.
Well, yeah, there's so much to do. Sorry, my dog is having a dream. Um,
Oh, one more thing. Does everybody know that the federal government is a municipal government? Right? And the state government is a municipal government, and your county is a municipal type of government, and your township is a municipal government, and it should be a township. Not, there's different types of government, and if you don't know that, which they took it all out of the education system, but the federal government is actually a municipality, and I could go on, but I won't.
well, we've got 8 minutes for us to go on because I will be closing this down. We're going to another school function for the boys. So go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, real quick. Truth. Did you take back? Sorry. You saw that Titus, whatever, it's a town in Missouri, did the exact thing. Overnight, the 6 council members approved a data center to go in, and the town people of 16,000 or 10, I think it's 16,000, said, "Oh no, 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 no." And they all got voted out. They stood up and said, "You can't do that. You can't just approve something without asking the town if this is okay, if this is something we want." So they did. They voted them all out, all of them. And this is one town within the state of Missouri. So it can happen. Like I said, people have to just take back their counties and do it one county at a time.
Well, we have to assemble first and understand our position, and everybody has to do it. Yeah, I agree.
Has anybody heard of Tanawa Downing? That's doing a tour right now. I forget how many days he's got left, but he's going around to all these different cities, call them, and explaining that they don't have the right to do the things they've been doing. So it is coming to a head. I don't know if anybody else has paid any attention to it or read what he's talking about or anything, but
Actually, I'm on a Zoom call with Jessica Saxton, and she was associated with Tana Dowling. I have a bunch of their videos I downloaded with them talking about the unconstitutional acts that they're doing, the due process of laws being. They split up because he is not 100% correct. But
right.
Yeah,
I kind of got that feeling too because he's been challenged in a couple of different things, but it's eye opening to some of the people that are working for these municipalities. I think.
There you go. Real quick, like I said, 5 more minutes here. I don't know if Harlan's gonna open another space, but I unfortunately, like I said, I am closing down at 5 minutes. So anybody that's up here, if you want to wrap it up, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Well, thank you for opening up the space today, Truth, and thank you, Nika and Terry, for always stepping up as well. Good space, lots of good information, guys. Like and share the space. Go over to Rumble and to YouTube, please. They are being live streamed over there as well, guys. Get it up on the algorithm. There are people that come into this space after their work day, and they will listen to this. There's a lot of good information today. Thank you for having me, and have a great day. God bless America.
Thanks for being our third co-host and helping. I think Marlon's mic dropped, so I don't think he's going to be doing his space. Anyone else?
Ladies first. Nika, are you there?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I got kicked out for a while, and then I had to restart my phone. And when I got back in, guys, I don't know if you saw it, but my mic wouldn't close. I kept hitting the close button, and it was stuck open. So then I had to drop again. Oh my goodness, I was having a rough time. But Truth, thank you for having me up. Terry, great to be up here with you. Like Julie said, guys, if you haven't already, please like and share the space. There's a lot of people working that like to come back and listen to it later. We appreciate it. it was a great conversation. Honestly, there's a lot of information down in the pill as well. And people that come back later and listen to the space can go through and pull any of that information that they are interested in. So we appreciate everybody that came up to talk. Always a lot of good information. I appreciate the conversation we had about J6 today. Guys, please don't let this be forgotten. They did so much damage to our country and it's not visible to most people, but we cannot let this just be brushed under a rug. So I appreciate everybody, coming in and Russell, especially you sharing your experience. We appreciate that. Yeah, Truth. Thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Tell your boys good luck and whatever they're up to today. Thanks, True.
Yeah, appreciate y'all supporting when Marlon's not able to host. Marlon, you got something, buddy?
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate you jumping in there and getting her done. And yeah, appreciate everybody's patience. I got some things working in the background, and got to take the time to look at it. So appreciate it.
Thanks for the space. Great. I got in a little late. I want to maybe talk about tomorrow or something. MK Ultra, Tulsi Gabbard's office being raided. If you guys know anything about that, is that true or false?
So far, there's lots of people saying it's true, but then there's a whole bunch of other news organizations and whatnot saying it's false and directly from her office. So who knows? But we will be here tomorrow. Sorry to cut it short, but family calls, and I'm a dad, and I'm not gonna not do something for my son. Terry, any last words? And I know Texas, you're used to us going a little longer, but we're just closing it down. Terry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. It was good to hear everybody's voice. Nika, it was a little bit glitchy. I was just kicking my hacky sack and having a granola bar, and I got slung right out of the space. I've listened to, the arguments about the J6ers. Let's just peel back the onion for what it really was. The Democrats were saying if you ever assemble like this again, you will pay for it, and that's really what happened to those J6ers. It was raw power. Now I'm going to close on an optimistic note. We have a president that takes action. He doesn't think red or blue. He's an action-based president, and I have faith that he's going to get to the bottom of all this, and there will be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning the likes we've never seen. So just keep the faith, and that's my last word.
Your lips to God's ears. Go ahead, Texas. We're closing up, buddy.
Yeah, I just need a second, man. Huge day, y'all. Huge day. Marlon, huge day, brother. Mark this one on your calendar is what we've been fighting for years. Supreme Court ruled today that brokers can be held liable for who they hire if the accidents kill people or harm people on our highways. That is huge. Now we need transparency, broker transparency. So we have seen the turn now. They're coming after the brokers and shippers for liability for their hiring practices instead of just focusing on these carriers. Like I said from the start, the carriers and the truckers is a symptom. The disease starts with the greed and the brokerages and shippers, manufacturers. So just a huge day. I just wanted to come in real quick and throw that at y'all, man. But I appreciate all y'all support, man. Y'all, we've all been instrumental in this. Y'all have as much as anybody else.
Well, Texas, if you got the time to join us then tomorrow, I'll do my best to not cut the space short by an hour. And, maybe we can start with that if you got the time. Everybody for joining us and being so faithful and supporting, essentially Marlon's space. Greatly appreciative. This is where we throw some thoughts and ideas out there and try to tackle them, but also work on solutions. We got to do this. We don't want it to be so much a damn echo chamber as much as it is like, hey, here's what to look for. Here's how to fight it. So hopefully y'all can continue to do this. Like I say in every space towards the end here, just remember, don't sweat the small stuff and realize that everything is small stuff. just keep it all in perspective, the micro and the macro. This is ultimately a fight of good and versus evil, always has been, always will be. You know, but the beauty of this whole story is that we actually have the script, the holy word of God, the Bible, and guess what? God wins. So, you know, do what we can while we're here, fulfill why, you know, your reason for being here, find out what it is, and ask for God's will to be done in your life. And then, like Marlon says at the end of his spaces, which this essentially is, don't work too hard. I don't have the Jersey accent. You know, use guys, don't work too hard.
God bless America.
There you go. And God bless America. Thank y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. ish Eastern time. You guys have a great rest of your day. God bless.